Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to World This Morning. I am your host Hajra Satti and alongside me is my wonderful and intellectual co-host Jawad Hami. My dear viewers, as you can see that we are not sitting in a traditional style studio, rather we are here out in the open. What and where place are we here? We will divulge the details in a short while, but my team and I decided that we need to venture out. Why? Because there have been massive floodings inside the country, and as our climate change minister Mrs. Sherry Rahman very aptly pointed out, these are the monster monsoons that have afflicted the Pakistan. The water is with such much intensity, it was so gushing that Pakistan has suffered $10 billion of the losses. It's 9.1% of the GDP. It's all the climate losses. And one thing which United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres very aptly mentioned, this is the climate apartheid. The global north, especially the Scandinavian countries, they can buy their way out of the climate crisis because they are benefiting from very sort of variation in the weather pattern. But in the global south, in Pakistan, we are badly affected by these. Before these floodings, there were droughts, there were wildfires, there were heat waves, and so much so. And more than that, I would like to divulge some of the details regarding the damages that have been incurred. So 1.2 million people have been displaced by their homes. More than 500 kilometers plus of the road infrastructure has been damaged. So many schools have been destroyed. So many buildings have been destroyed. Pakistan, in which the agriculture contributes a massive part to the GDP, has been badly affected because all the crops, all the fields have been awash by such sort of massive and torrential rains when it comes to that. 1,200 people have died. The more than 600 people who have been injured by that, and in that there are 413 children who are injured by that. Jawad, you wanted to add something?
Right, and massive relief and rescue efforts are underway. The federal government as well as the provincial governments are leaving no stone unturned in order to provide that rescue and the relief to the affected population because of these massive floods. And Army, as well as Pakistan Air Force, as well as Pakistan Navy, they are also contributing to the best of their efforts and capabilities in order to provide relief and rescue. And now there are different relief camps, around 147 relief camps which have been established by Pakistan Army, which are working around the clock in order to provide relief to the affected population, as well as they have carried out over 200 sorties in order to evacuate the stranded individuals in the affected areas. Similarly, Pakistan Air Force has provided the ration packs to the affected population as well as the cooked food packs. They're also providing the medical services to the affected population wherever the people have been affected.
Right.
Similarly, Navy officers and personnel also contributing to the best of their capabilities as well. Likewise, international community has been urged by the Pakistani authorities to come to the fore, and Pakistan has got a phenomenal response indeed from the international stakeholders, from the Muslim brotherly countries as well as the partners, including the Western countries as well, including France, Canada, the US, the UK, the United Nations as well, talking about Muslim brotherly countries, Turkey, the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iran, everybody is coming in order to help Pakistan out in this grave crisis.
Right, and Jawad, adding also to the conversation, there are 33 million people affected by these massive flooding, which means 1 in the 7% is affected by that. It's such a huge amount of number, and now, right now, we are sitting in the Dera Ismail Khan, and the reason why we selected it because it is one of the worst affected area in this entire flooding season, and it sits in the confluence of the four provinces: Sindh, Balochistan, KPK, Punjab, and there have been massive floodings that has not only affected just one provinces, it has affected all the 4 provinces. And you know, our climate change minister, Mrs. Sherry Rahman, very aptly pointed out that Sindh and Balochistan is just one mass of the ocean because there's so much water, it's submerged under it. 1/3 of the country, 1/3 of Pakistan is submerged under this water. There has been phenomenal damage. It has been epochal sort of the damage, and United Nations Secretary General also mentioned that today it's Pakistan, next time it can be any other country.
So we also mentioned that the monsoon in Pakistan this time around was on steroids. I mean, massive rainfall, and that caused flash floods. And the area that we are sitting right now, Dera Ismail Khan, one of the most affected areas in the entire country. Over 20 people have lost their lives and many are injured, while the infrastructural damages are huge. Over 65,000 houses have been either partially or completely destroyed. Likewise, over 20, there has been 3 schools which have been partially damaged.
Thank you so much for sharing these statistics, Jawad. So we are joined by one of the very prestigious personality who has been very apt in helping out the people of his area. We have been joined by Faisal Karim Kundi Saab, who happens to be the senior leader of People's Party. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much.
Wa alaikum salam and welcome to the.
So good to have you on the show today.
Sir, so there is a symbiotic sort of a relationship between the humanitarian aid agencies, between the state functionaries, people like you who are helping out on the people, and also, you know, the flood affectees. So I would like to ask you, what is your assessment of the damage that has occurred here and what is needed the most?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I want to thank you, your team also, and especially Ministry for Information that you have chosen D. Khan in Pakistan, that we have been very badly damaged by flood. Actually, Deir Ismail Khan, it's not damaged that much by river Indus, but we have been damaged by flash flood. Roughly 3 of our tehsils of districts are totally damaged, and 4th tehsil is almost 80% damaged. If you talk about the Khan division, it also have Tank also district. It's very badly damaged also. The Prime Minister has also visited here, Chief Minister Khyber Pakhtunkhwa also visited here. We are, all the political parties, all the people of D. Khan, especially which are not being hit by flash floods or which are not being damaged, they are also helping the areas of where the people where the flood is not has been hit. So people are going, like they're taking cook food there, they're taking medical teams, they're supporting their people who have been damaged a lot. Unfortunately, when there was flood in 2010, we were in the government. I was deputy speaker at that time. There were a lot of NGOs working in Deir Ismail Khan also. Unfortunately, right now we don't have that much NGOs because their NOCs have been cancelled. From your, I will take the opportunity here that I will also appeal to the NGOs and international community that we should also focus on the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Southern District, which is D. Khan division. Almost 230, around 230 villages of Deir Ismail Khan has been damaged right now, which our assessment we have got from the Revenue Department and local administration. We have got 26, 28 deaths and these sort of things. We need coordination between the provincial government and the federal government, which is, there is a lack of coordination. We want that coordination, that should happen, because if you see, people of Pakistan has voted for PVP also, they voted for PMLN also, they voted for PTA also, and different political parties. Now the political parties, as we are sitting here, people are checking that what they are going to do with us. Now we have to put our political differences aside and we have to work for the people of Pakistan. As you have said, Balochistan has been damaged a lot, Sindh has been damaged a lot, then South Punjab has been damaged a lot. Similarly, south of KPD, Khan, and then Swat and Malakand division, if you say, it's also been damaged.
So, Mr. Faisal, as you mentioned, beg your pardon for the interruption. So, as you mentioned, there were floods back in 2010 over here as well. So, how different do you think this time the flood was as compared to that of 2010?
This flood was, I think, the water molecule was double than the 2010. It's more, not double, but it was more than 2010. And damages has been done more than 2010, which I said 230 plus villages has been damaged. We are giving short relief to people. The federal government has decided that giving short relief of 25,000 rupees per family. First phase is for the beneficiary who have got the Benazir Income Support Program cards.
Wonderful.
And the second thing is that whoever house has been damaged and they don't have any Benazir Income Support Program card, they can SMS their ID card number. The head of the family, either is male or female, they have to SMS on 8171 their ID card number, and then they will be getting message that you can get one time 25,000 rupees, and they can also get 25. This is the shortest receipt which Benzene support program is giving to people. Where you are sitting in DE Khan, we have got we have got approval of 31,000 families. They will be getting, and we have started. We had 3-4 offices in DE Khan. We have got camp offices now. We have got 15 centers now. People can get. We are trying to get near to those areas, and they can get easily their amount of whatever they are. So first relief is this. Then we still need a lot of tents and food items, because this area has been damaged by flash flood. People are going back to their homes. They need tents for their families. They can have their families in their tents, and then they can start their rehabilitation work. So a lot of work has to be done, because our crops has been damaged, the livelihood has been damaged. So a lot of work have done, which is not like you can say it's 3 months or 6 months.
So as you mentioned, there were 236 districts which were directly villages of this particular district and the division which were affected by these flash floods. So would you like to differentiate between the damages which have been caused by these specific flash floods, and it was not that similar to the riverine flood? How do you differentiate those two floods?
You know, flash flood is, the water is coming from mountains to river Indus, and in between is district and division DE Khan. Like similarly, if you go to South Punjab, it's Dera Ghazi Khan and this type of things. So flash flood, when it comes from mountains to Indus, the water molecule was much more than the flowing areas, the nalas, you can say, we call it Rotkoi nalas, and they were overflowing that area. So whatever villages were coming on the way, they were being damaged. So 80 to 90% villages have been demolished, because we have got mud houses. They are not like built by, you can say, tiles or bricks.
They're not the concrete structure.
They are not concrete structures, they are mud houses. So there was rain also and flood also. So the houses, mud houses have been totally damaged.
That added insult to injury.
Right. And sir, talking about, and pardon I'm cutting you, but talking about the recovery, so what do you want to focus on? Is it just the recovery, or is it the green recovery? Just the recovery, it means that, you know, the next year when such sort of calamity strikes again, there can be some sort of, again, more damage to same communities which has happened right now. So what are you doing in order to facilitate for the green recovery when it comes to the tackling flooding?
There are different type of recoveries. You know, there is short relief, then long-term relief. You can say you can give first aid, then you have to go to the district headquarters hospital, and if they don't have any sort of facilities, then you have to go to the big cities also. So this whatever I'm talking about, the tents and these things, they are only short relief.
Right.
Then their crops has been damaged.
Right.
We will be facing, whole Pakistan will be facing shortage of vegetables, fruits.
Right.
Then we, in special in DE Khan, we have got 4 sugar mills. So 4 sugar mills are here. Our sugar cane has been damaged, our rice crop has been damaged, cotton has been damaged. So this thing is that the vegetable which was supposed to be like cultivated, the time has been over, we can't cultivate it. So these type of things, which DE Khan, if you talk about Sindh and Balochistan and then South Punjab, all over is happening this.
Right.
So God forbid we'll be facing a lot of food crisis maybe in future. We have to work for that also. But we have to rebuild their houses also. The Prime Minister of Pakistan and the Chief Minister has announced around, I think, 1 million rupees per household or something like this for rebuilding their houses.
Right.
So survey is going on, because we are still not connected with the highways.
Very good.
Our Karachi highway is connected yesterday. From KP to Balochistan highway is still cut off. We can't connect that area also. So there are a lot of things to be done. And it will take, I think, few years, not like you can say it will be for 6 months or 1 year. It will take at least, if you go on fast track, it will at least take 3-4 years to come back to the situation.
So what about, beg your pardon for the interruption, what about building small dams in this particular area? As you mentioned that the main cause of the devastation in this particular area was the flash floods. So if the management or the authorities go on making small dams, do you think it could be a solution in the long term in order to deal with such flash floods?
We have capacity of 4 small dams in DE Khan. We already had 5 capacity of 5 dams. We have got Gomalzam Dam, then we have got capacity of 4 other dams we can build here. That will be the best thing which we do. But thing is, if this type of flood comes, I don't think so that dam will also be in position to control them. But still, if you go for that, I think we can control a lot of damages. But the damages which happen now, I think it will be less than half of them will be damaged. So we should go for small dam, medium-sized dams, and then thing which is specially thing is that in past history, when there was rule of British rule, there have been, we call it Rotkohi Nalas, which are coming from mountain area and then go to Indus. That has not been maintained. That's the main problem of causing floods also. In last few years, after 2010 to right now, we have not maintained one Rotkohi Nala also. We used to have bulldozers, we have to dig that nalas to give way to water to go to Indus. That department has been closed.
So that was quite an effective method in order to ward off such type of flash floods.
Right.
I agree, that's false. But
So
thing
what
is
do you
that-
suggest-
that's been closed. We have to reopen that and we have to restart that thing also.
Right, that's a very indigenous solution, and since you belong to this area, you are a native of this area, and we have seen that 33 million people have been affected in these flooding, which is 1 in every 7 person is affected by such kind of climate losses. So sir, I would really like to ask you, what do you feel is in your opinion or suggestion is the best way to tackle such sort of floodings? Because I do feel that we are living in the new normal sort of a thing, and these rains might again next year with more ferocity, with more vigor.
First of all, we are a nation, unfortunately, that whenever something happens and it comes on our head, then we go for the solution. We should have worked for climate change a couple of years back, but we have not worked on the climate change, what climate change is doing. We have to see over the climate change, then we have to look at other facilities, but thing is we have not discussed health also, because when the flood water wherever is standing, we are having a lot of medical diseases also. We have got like dengue, we have got snake bites, we have got other problems also. We have to face that thing also. We have to go for this also. We have to give health facilities to the local people also. So for that, I think we all have to sit together. We have to go for the future, these type of challenges which climate change has to go, because if next year again this type of floods come, what will you do? You will not have recovered from the past one, and then you will have to, unfortunately, if it again happen next year, or similarly every year this is going to happen. So how will we counter this? We have to think over it, that how can we collectively, this is a collective responsibility, all the political parties, all the stakeholders. As a nation, we have the collective responsibility, and we have to all have to sit together, and we have to make the map, future roadmap, that how can we face these type of disasters.
Indeed, Mr. Professor, it's a very pertinent point that you've just mentioned. You've been part of the National Assembly as well as the Deputy Speaker, being at that chair during the PPP tenure. What sort of an understanding at that time and over the years do you think it has developed among the members of the Parliament, that Pakistan being the lower on the carbon, one of the lowest countries on the carbon emissions, yet has to pay the price because of the climatic changes that are happening, and these floods are very much manifestation of that. So how all the stakeholders, when you talk about the collective responsibility, should come to the fore and impress upon the international community that, look, this is what we are paying the price for, the crime that we never committed. So international community has to play a role and hold those countries or of this particular region accountable for their wrongdoing.
This is a very important question, and I think the international community has started helping us also, but this is not enough, I think. We have fought the war of international community in Afghanistan, not once, couple of times, and whenever they need us, they say everything. When their things are over, then they don't think about us. Yes, I think of Afghan war, there is some, you can say, impact on Pakistan also about the climate change and thing also. That's why whatever in last answer I have said, that we have to sit together, we have to make the roadmap for the future. And in that roadmap, we have to go to for the international community, and we have to ask them that we have fought your war. Now we are facing crisis of climate change and these sort of things. We have to come forward, we have to help us building our infrastructure, building our new dams, small dams, medium dams. These type of things they have to do us. Otherwise, in the future, if they need Pakistan, then we should say absolutely not for them.
And sir, our state has been very successful in generating this narrative where they are saying that it's not our responsibility, this is not of our own making. But let's talk about the agriculture, because I do feel that agriculture contributes to Pakistan's GDP a lot. And Dera Ismail Khan is certainly also an agrarian sort of a society or community. So please give us a broader assessment of, how many crops have been damaged and how many farmers have lost their livelihood and how much livestock has been lost in such sort of monster monsoon season.
Majority of livestock has been damaged. I think if I say 80 to 90% livestock they have been damaged because the fresh water has taken away to the river basin. Either they are killed on the way they have been or whatever. Then if you talk about crops, wherever like 80 to 90% Dehan has been damaged. If you will not count the city, if you go to the area where we have sugarcane, we have got rice, we have got vegetable, all are damaged because still water is there. So the crop is almost 90 to 95% is damaged. So that's also damaged, but thing is we have to work for, we are agriculture country. Agriculture is the backbone of Pakistan. So we have to focus on agriculture. When in 2008, when we came to the government, we were importing wheat. In next year, we were exporting wheat. So we have to give facilities to the farmers now. We have to give subsidy to the farmers now. We have to work for them that they should stand on their feet, and they should, because if they don't stand on their feet, then the agriculture of Pakistan, the food basket of Pakistan will be, now look at this, that we are importing onion from Afghanistan, the country which are facing war, years and years war, decades of war, and still we are bringing it from. So we have to work on that. We have to give facility to the farmers, agriculturists, that they should stand on their feet, and we should, normally nations are also built when in crisis also. This is the, I think, opportunity for Pakistan, that we should become one nation and stand on our own feet, and we should come with the new vision of Pakistan.
Right, sir, we have seen that there is a lot of aid which is coming in, and Jawad very aptly mentioned and took the name of the countries which have been giving us the aid. But then again, is it really the aid that we need, or do we need something more concrete than, beyond the pledges, beyond the promises about this climate change? Because we have seen how global south, in particular South Asia, is at the risk of this climate disaster. And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres very aptly said that the people living in this region are 16 times at more risk than any other people in the globe when it comes to facing the brunt of the climate change, the climate losses and the flooding when it comes to that. So what do you feel is necessary? Obviously aid helps in the short term, but in the long term, what is needed?
The brotherly country or the friends of Pakistan, they are giving aid this is the first aid for Pakistan. When it happens sometimes in China or some other countries. Pakistan also supported them. Pakistan also give them whatever we can give them, we supported them in aid also. We don't need that much aid, we need trade with them. We have to increase our trade. Then we have got long-term, this is short-term. Friends of Pakistan, they are supporting UN because of the people of Pakistan. We need that thing in the short relief. But in the long relief in Pakistan, we need a lot of help from the international community for our infrastructure. A lot of things we have to do. For that, we have already appealed to the international community. UN Secretary General is also coming on the visit. Our foreign minister, few days back, he has took ambassadors to the flood areas. They have seen with their own eyes. They might have given a report to their countries also that what's happening in Pakistan. UN Secretary General is coming. He will be visiting the flood affected areas also. He will be watching with his own eyes, and he will also appeal to the international community. So I think we will build up again, inshallah.
So, Mr. Professor, it's very pertinent to mention over here a statement given by Climate Change Minister Ms. Shari Rahman a couple of days before. She said that the cities in Pakistan are not designed for such type of downpours without any break. So does it imply that the cities and the entire infrastructure in Pakistan needs to be revamped? And for that revamping, we need much bigger support from the international community. When we talk about the institutions like the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, which were meant to help all those developing countries for the reconstruction and rehabilitation, do you think these donor agencies or the organizations should actually add up more towards countries which are vulnerable like Pakistan to the climate change and revamping the infrastructure? And
also, I would like to ask very quickly about the feminization of the poverty. I know that women here, a lot of women are involved in the agriculture sector. They're plucking cotton and they are doing a lot of work. And obviously poverty affects the women more, but when there's climate change, it affects them very adversely because they're one of the marginalized sectors. So what do you have to say about the women who have been affected by these sort of flooding, and the kids who have actually, bear the brunt of this climate crisis because they're not going to schools, their schools have been damaged?
Definitely, the women of this area, they have worked a lot. They are working a lot. But the thing is, whatever I said, that the BISP card, whichever it is with the woman, and she knows how to maintain her house. BISP is coming with the World Food Organization or World Health Organization is coming with some other facilities for the women also, which we are going to start for all over Pakistan. It will be starting in Khan also and all over Pakistan also. Ms. Shazia Murray has given this statement on that also, and soon it will be coming also. But thing is, when we face these type of floods or some disasters, then we think about it that we have to do this. I saw the statement of, watched the statement of Chief of Army Staff when he was visiting northern areas, especially Swat and these areas, where the hotels or houses were built on the area where they were not allowed. So thing is that we have to channelize our things. We have to have check on balance of our departments. If I build this house which is not the area of mine and it's like on the roadside or on the river side, who has given me the approval? Either you have given me approval or she has given me the approval, somebody else has given me the approval. Unless there is accountability of the concerned departments or whoever they are giving them approval of building these type of things. If you could talk about the cities, nobody can build a house unless the local administration or their organization, like if you build a house in Khan, it's the Data Development Authority or something like this, TMA, they have to give you authority. So unless we have proper accountability, it can't be.
Right. So we have seen, how very aptly Faisal Kareem Kundi Sahab has mentioned the problems here which the women are facing, the children are facing, the waterborne diseases that have occurred in the aftermath of the flood. Of course, water is slowly receding, but then at the same time, we have seen that post-flood, there's so many problems. So in order to explore those voices, how they are, facing the brunt of such kind of climate crisis and how they're coping up with such sort of disaster, we will take you, but after the short break.
Yes, we are present in one of those areas which has been affected the most by the recent devastating floods which have wreaked havoc across the nook and the corner of the country. We are standing right now in Dera Ismail Khan. It is one of those areas which have been badly affected by recent incessant downpours and the consequent floods. The crops have been damaged, there has been infrastructural damage, lives have been lost, the livestock in huge number have been lost. At the moment, I'm standing at the Benazir Income Support Program, which is carrying out the relief activities for those people in particular which have been hit badly by the floods that we've seen. Once in a century phenomenon happened this time around with Pakistan. All the provinces, including Balochistan, Sindh province, and South Punjab, as well as KP, all were affected equally. As you can, I have with me my co-host Haja Sati. She is with me. She's been traveling with me all the way from Islamabad up till here in Dera Ismail Khan. Let's talk to her about the details, that what she observed, the people she interacted with, what difficulties the people are facing over here after these devastating floods. But before we go into the detail, I would ask my cameraman to please pan the camera towards this particular relief center, which has been established under the auspices of Benazir Income Support Program, which is leading these relief efforts from the front. And under the Benazir Income Support Program, as per the announcement by the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, each affected family in all the provinces would be given 25,000 rupees each. Likewise, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has been leading this particular relief and rescue and rehabilitation effort right from the front. He has announced $15 billion for Sindh province. When we talk about the KP province, he has announced 10 billion rupees for KP. 100 million rupees have been announced by the Prime Minister for Gilgit-Baltistan. Likewise, for South Punjab, there has been. So let's talk to Hajra, who has been with me since the morning as we were traveling through this particular area. So Hajra, what sort of an impact did you observe with your own eyes in this particular area of the recent devastating floods, especially on this particular area of Dera Ismail Khan?
Right, thank you so much, Jawad. So we are standing right now in the Benazir Income Support Program Center, and they are dispersing 25,000 rupees to the affected families, those who have the cards. And we have seen how women have been affected during these floods, because they were the ones who were mostly working in the fields.
We will definitely delve deeper into the details and the impact of these devastating floods on different areas in Pakistan. As you can see, we have certain officials of Benazir Income Support Program with us who have been working day in and day out for the relief and rescue of these flood-affected people. As Hajra was mentioning, women's strata has been hit, especially in these areas badly by these floods. So what impact they've had on their overall life? We have got one of the flood affectees right now with us, and Hajra is going to talk and learn about the miseries that they are facing right now.
Right, thank you so much. अच्छा, आप अपना नाम बता दीजिए और आप मुझे बताएं कि आपका कितना नुकसान हुआ है सैलाब में?
सारा नुकसान, मकान शकान ढाए गए हैं, माल शाल बैर हुआ है, फसलों का नुकसान थी है, गरीब लोग हैं। ते मुझे बेनज़ीर अगे भी देंदी पे इमदाद, हुन भी अल्लाह उनका भला करे, हुन भी देंदी पई है। सारा जियान जवाल ठीक थी गया, कच्चियां कंधां कच्चे कोठे ढाए गए।
ठीक है, और आपके कितने बच्चे हैं और
की 6 बेटियां ते इयो बेटा ते कच्ची मजदूरी करंदा खावन मेरा।
ठीक है, और अभी सैलाब में आपके पास एड वगैरह आई है, पहुंची है?
जी हाँ।
अच्छा, कौन सी किस इदारे की एड पहुंची है आपके पास?
किस समझ नहीं आई बात।
इमदाद?
जी इमदाद ठीक आंदी पे, खाना आंदा पे, हर सब चीज तंबू आंदे पे, हर शय आंदी पे।
Send kid with us. ये आपका बेटा है जी?
जी ये मेरा बेटा है। 6 बेटियां।
बेटा आपका क्या नाम है?
नाम है महबूब।
आप बात कर सकते हैं? आप बोल सकते हैं? अपना नाम आता है आपको?
हाँ दसा अपना नाम, मेरा नाम महबूब है।
महबूब।
बहुत अच्छा प्यारा नाम है आपका बेटा।
6 मेरी बेटियां।
तो आप पढ़ते हैं?
जी
कौन
हाँ।
सी क्लास में? कितनी उम्र है आपकी? कितने साल के हैं आप?
5-6 साल की उम्र।
5-6 साल के। स्कूल जाते हैं आप?
जी आप कच्ची साल।
स्कूल जाते हैं, लेकिन सैलाब आने के बाद जो है वो बच्चे स्कूल नहीं जा पा रहे।
ठीक है स्कूल।
तो ये इनको स्कूल वापस भेजने के हवाले से, बहाली के हवाले से आप क्या दरखास्त करना चाहेंगे?
6 बच्चियां मेरे को एदा खर्चा पटा नहीं थी ना, मैं परेशान रही। एक बच्ची दी आंख दे विच कैंसर है, मेरे को खर्चा को नहीं। ते डॉक्टर ने ला इलाज किया, मैं पक्के करोड़ प्राइवेट उधार पुधार करके जेरे दर करीबी होवे तो मैं उदा करे।
आज आप यहाँ पर आई हैं बेनज़ीर इनकम सपोर्ट प्रोग्राम के तहत जो है इमदादी कार्रवाइयाँ जारी हैं। 25,000 रुपये हर मुतासरा ख़ानदान को हुकूमत की जानिब से दिए जा रहे हैं। तो आपको यहाँ पर आकर किसी मुश्किल का सामना तो नहीं अभी तक करना पड़ा?
जी नहीं साढ़े नाल बड़ी नेकी करेंदी पे, वहाँ वेंदी तक साको कमी के शायद बेनज़ीर नहीं दी थी। साढ़े जितना मुश्किल काम है बेनज़ीर कटेंदी पे, और मेरी उन 6 बच्चियां मैं गुजारा चलाइंदी पे, खावन दी कच्ची मजदूरी है।
कोई हुकूमत से खुसूसी दरख्वास्त आप करना चाहेंगे?
नहीं।
As you have seen, she's mentioned that she's quite satisfied with the services which are being given by the Benazir Income Support Program, and its staff is working day in and day out to help these flood-affected people. Now, so she's got something else to say. Let's listen.
बिया साको कुछ मिले या न मिले ना, जेरे कुछ पैसे मिले ने, मेरी बच्ची थी आखिरी जेरी कैंसर है, मैं इलाज करावा, पर इयो कुछ इमदाद मैं करावा।
As you can see, there are a lot of miseries that there's so many problems they are already faced with, and adding insult to injury, these devastating floods have actually catapulted their lives entirely into a very different dimension. That's why we have got some officials from Benazir Income Support Program over here as well. He's DG Benazir Income Support Program, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chapter. Sir.
Well, thank you very much. As you would be
you have been doing this program for the relief activities. We have a special mandate. Our mandate is to provide them immediate relief in the form of 25,000 rupees. So under the program, the design program, whichever union council is declared as an affected union council by the National Disaster Management Authority, we immediately move into those union councils. In the first phase, there were 8 districts. DI Khan and Tank are amongst those districts. Across the province, we are distributing cash transfers of 25,000 rupees to around 140,000 right now. And this number would go up because in the second wave, we have got some 9 to 10 districts which are more to be added to, besides additional union councils from these already 8 notified districts. So we foresee that we would be disbursing cash transfers to around.
So is there any initial assessment how many families have been directly affected by these floods?
Well, actually, the number is going up because, as I mentioned, we are dependent on the notification by the National Disaster Management Authority. So,
Do you have any verification mechanism in place on the ground as well after the declaration by the concerned NDMA and the PDMA?
well, actually, NDMA is a sister government organization, so they have the mandate to notify a union council. So we don't go for any verification because you see. Some of the families, they would be directly affected, but some of the families, they would be indirectly affected for the reason that the prices are going up because of the shortage of supply. So we identify all the vulnerable families and we reach out to them.
As you saw, we talked to the flood-affected people over here, especially women are here. They are taking that cash amount which has been announced by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif through Benazir Income Support Program, and also the details of those services which are being provided by the staff. And from the horse's mouth, the DG Benazir Income Support Program, KPK chapter, had to give us the details of the services they are providing to the flood-affected people. With this note, we'll take a short break, and after the break, we'll be back with the visuals and the sights of those areas which have been badly and directly hit by these massive floods. For that, stay tuned. Welcome back from the break to the world this morning. I'm Jawad Tehami and I'm joined by my co-anchor Haja Sati. Haja, we have arrived at a place which is known as Pota. It is a village of Tehsil Dera Ismail Khan, and as you can see in my backdrop, the number of people sitting over here, they are the flood affectees, and let's talk to them to understand the kind of misery that they are facing right now. Would you like to share with our viewers what sort of miseries, अगर आप उर्दू में बात करना चाहते हैं, अपने मसाइल से आगाह कीजिए ताकि जो हुकूमत है या उसके इदारे आपको इमदाद करने के लिए कोशां हैं रात दिन, वो अगर अभी तक आप तक रसाई हासिल नहीं कर पाए तो उन तक आपकी आवाज़ पहुँच सके।
सर, मेरी वफाकी हुकूमत, सूबाई हुकूमत, डिस्ट्रिक्ट हुकूमत से अपील है कि इन लोगों को छत मुहैया करे, इन लोगों को खाने पीने का इंतज़ाम करे, इन लोगों के जो रोड टूटे फूटे हैं उनका इंतज़ाम करे, और हमारे सिटी और डिस्ट्रिक्ट खान के मुखय्यर हजरात ने इन लोगों की जितनी इमदाद की है, हम उनका जितना भी शुक्रिया अदा करें वो कम है। मगर अभी तक हुकूमतों ने कुछ भी नहीं किया, सिर्फ देखते रहे और जाते रहे।
हुकूमत इस तबाही का जो स्केल है वो बहुत बड़ा है। मजीद लोगों से बात करते हैं। आप बताइएगा किन मसाइल का आपको सामना करना पड़ा है, क्या चाहते हैं हुकूमत आपके लिए फुल फॉर क्या इकदाम करे?
मकान साकु चाहिए, मैदाना पे बैठे हैं, खाली आसमान में बैठे हैं, रोड को नहीं है, अभी भी पानी है, बहुत पानी है उधर, हमारे आने जाने का रास्ता भी नहीं है, ऐसा को बड़ी तकलीफ है साहब।
This man is of the view that there are a lot of areas which are still inundated because of huge quantity of water. As you can see, there are a number of kids over here as well, and they are also facing miseries, and the people over here are saying that they are sitting over this particular place from the last many days. Beta, आप बात करेंगे आपको किन तकलीफ का सामना करना पड़ा है, किस तरह से सैलाब आया और किस तरह से आप वहाँ से बच के निकले हैं?
रात को सुते पे से बहुत ज़्यादा पानी सैलाब बिना कोई आवन वञण दा रस्ता है सारे पीउन ते निके निके बाल निके निके भेण बिरावा ने कैसे माल उड़ गए ना कैसे मिलदी है ना आज यहाँ भूखे बैठे हैं छतां ढह गए हारश ढह गए ना कोई कैसे है ऐसा तो इवें है वध्या मैदान आते
You can see this little kid, his trembling voice. It clearly manifests that this calamity was huge. It has actually rattled people to the core, and he was saying that their livestock has been swept away. And let's talk to a couple of more people over here, what their requirements here are and what they do need from the government and the authorities. Assalamu alaikum ji. कुछ सैलाब के हवाले से बताइएगा, आपको किस तरह से मुतासिर किया है सैलाब ने, और क्या चाहते हैं हुकूमत या हुकूमती इदारे आपके लिए फिलफौर क्या करें तो आपकी जो मुश्किलात हैं उनमें कमी वाक़ई हो सके?
जी पहले नंबर तो हमारा रास्ता 6 किलोमीटर कटा हुआ है रोड से, हमारा मरीज नहीं निकल सकता, कुछ नहीं। दूसरा नंबर घर ढह गए, हुकूमत कुछ घर बना दे।
This man says that a number of houses have been damaged completely, and there are a lot of connecting roads from those villages, especially their village, to the main area that has been disconnected, which should be restored immediately so that these people could go back to their places and rehabilitate their infrastructure. आप कुछ बताएं क्या?
सर जी हमारी ये अपील है कि ये हमारे यारे मंजी खैल के गांव के लोग बैठे हुए हैं, तकरीबन रात के 2 बजे ये सैलाब आया हुआ है, कोई आदमी बच्चे बड़े जवान नहीं निकल सके, माल मवेशी नहीं निकल सका। हमारा रास्ते का ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है, हमारे गांव का ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा नुकसान हो गया है, 50-60 घर बिल्कुल मिलिया मेट हो गया है, 100 घर तकरीबन हमारा क्रैक हो गया है। हमारा
हुकूमत से चाहते हैं कि वो
से हम चाहते हैं कि मुझे रास्ते का ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है, राशन सूखे का ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है, हमारा बिल्कुल कोई वसील नहीं है। आज भी हम इधर भूखा दिन गुजारा है, किसी ने भी खाना नहीं खाया।
So this man says over 50 houses have been damaged in their village, and they want the government and the authorities to take the cognizance of their misery and immediately provide some sort of relief or assistance to them so that their damaged houses could be rebuilt. So Haji, you saw there are certain reservations as well, as we know that the scale of this calamity was huge. So government is trying to reach out to people, but there are certain areas, as you can see, the reservations exist of the people.
Right, we can see that, you know, how people are in distress here, but also, you know, they help themselves in the need of in such sort of calamity. And you can also see that, you know, it's a land of the paradoxes, because there's so much flood, but yet, you know, they do not have access to clean drinking water. And you can see the pots, they are lying here. This symbolizes that they do not have the access towards the clean drinking water. And we are going to talk more about this, but after a short break.
Welcome back from the break. With the gut-wrenching sights I've just witnessed, Hajra, if misery and devastation had a face, it would be this village named Bud, where there is a population of 10,000 inhabitants. But more than 2,400 houses have been completely destroyed. They've been literally razed from the ground. And the reason was that devastating flood that came as a deluge within a nick of a second, and it took the entire locality in its grip, wreaking havoc. And it not only caused infrastructural damages, it took the life of innocent children. Like these innocent children were taken away by the flash flood. And you can see all around, people have got the grim faces. These are people of our own country, of our own land, and they're looking forward not only to the authorities, but to every single responsible citizen of Pakistan to come forward and help them out in this hour of grief, in this hour of grave crisis. Let's talk to some people who've been directly hit. As you can see on the left side of me, Hajra, there is an innocent little child. It has got some future. So, because of the climatic changes and the devastating impact it has had over here in this particular village, where over 2,400 houses have been completely destroyed, what sort of a future would you think these innocent eyes have got in themselves? They look forward to that assistance from all and sundry, whether it be all the stakeholders within the territory of Pakistan, whether beyond borders, the international community as well. Here we have got some person who has lost his loved one, little small daughter in this flood. I don't have that capacity or that courage to talk to somebody who has just lost his daughter in this devastating flood, but just to let people know what this misery actually feels like. Let's talk to him. जी बताइएगा क्या हुआ?
इस बच्ची के नाम जो है सिद्रा थे, सैलाब आया तो छत के नीचे आ गई और गए थे तो बच्ची फौत हो गई। इसके बाद उठाया तो बच्ची ख़त्म हो चुकी है। 1, 2, 3 सिलियाँ लगी थी और गार्डर भी लगे थे और छत के नीचे आई थी तो देखा है तो 10 जल्द फौत हो गई है। मेहरबानी करे हमारे साथ तावन करे।
I mean, these sort of emotions can't be expressed in words or phrases or sentences. This heavy-heartedness, Hajra, I mean, that tremble in that voice of a father losing a child to the water current in form of flood is simply beyond my comprehension. How would he have, tolerated that pain? He would have got through immense pain indeed.
Right, and I can see that there are a lot of demolished structures here. The place at which we are standing right now, people told me that it was a private school, but it's no more here. There's so much devastation here, and we will keep at the closing. And I would like to say that we have been here since the morning, and we would like to become the voice of such kind of voiceless people who do not have any say, and PTV World will continue to do so.
सैलाब आ गया, पानी की लहरें आ गई रातों रात। क्या लम्हात थे, क्या एहसासात थे उस वक्त?
इसके साथ कह रहे पर घर हमारा है उके भीड़ हो गए, ना कोई मंजा बचा है, ना कोई किश नहीं बचा, तले आ गई है। पहले साकू मीहाले पानी बोल छोड़ा है, वत न्यूज आ गई है। ये शुक्र तेल हम करे ने जो न्यूज डी को आ गई है, जो डी को आंदा तो सारे बंदे बड़े बहुत नुकसान हो गए। ये पास यका भीड़ थी आप ये समझ के जरा हवा रहे यका।
क्या कहना चाहेंगे हुकूमत से, हुकूमती इदारों से, किस तरह की तवक्कुआत हैं आप?
हुकूमत को इदारत कर सकते थे, कुछ साढ़े फायदा गोल सकते थे, असा तो गो फायदे गुले नहीं जो साढ़े को तो 5 रुपये की ताकत को नहीं। असा तो कुछ असा तो जो साको मकान मिले वंजन कि भाई राशन मिल वंजे, सबसे जेरी कोई फर्द है तो साको मिल वंजे तो असा तो उस टाइम मांगते आए। Yeah.
Indeed, you have heard him saying, of course, there is some sort of a hope in the eyes of people who are elderly of a community, and they want their newer generations to be raised in a safe and secure environment. And but when they see their houses being demolished and their little younger ones getting killed because of these water currents, so that's really a painful moment for them. At the end of this particular program, it's going to be sunset right now, but make sure that it's not going to be a sunset for the people over here, which have been affected by these devastating floods. Come forward and donate as much as you can to the Prime Minister Relief Fund. The account is G12164. And you can also send in 10 rupees, just minimum of 10 rupees by sending an SMS to 9999 to the Prime Minister Flood Relief program that he has launched. So, Haja, any last words that you want to say?
Right, and on the closing note, we have talked to a lot of people here, to the women, to the children, to the affected, and one message sprung forth, which is we need to do more. We need to provide them more cash with more assistance, and Jawad has very aptly mentioned the helplines of how we can donate. So we have been here, we have listened to their stories, we have brought forth such sort of stories where how they're coping with such sort of disaster, and until next time, it's a goodbye.